We are at full capacity today. We had a long wait list as well, and that's a beautiful thing. And that means we have a critical mass right here in this room to center Black girls, and we need all that support here and after this moment. 20 years ago, October 1998, my sister Salamishah Tillet courageously allowed me to photograph her journey from a rape victim to rape survivor.
That journey, story of a rape survivor, was to reclaim my body, to restore my dignity, and begin to heal after being raped, not just once, but twice in college. A year before, in 1997, Tarana had sat across from a 13-year-old African-American girl named Heaven in Selma, Alabama, who had just told her that she had been sexually abused by her mother's boyfriend. Looking back, Tarana has reflected, I didn't have a response or a way to help her in that moment, and I couldn't even say me too. In 2003, Tarana created Just Be Inc., a nonprofit that helped victims of sexual harassment and violence, the same year that A Long Walk Home became an official nonprofit. 3 years later, Tarana began using that most simple of phrases, Me Too, to connect with survivors, particularly girls and young women of color, for breaking silence was a rare, if not an impossible option for those young women. So I would like you to join me in welcoming Tarana Burke, a fellow survivor, my fierce sister, and founder of the Me Too movement, here to our stage. Thank you.
I call the name of Black girls and Black women in every space that I am because I can. And because anybody else I've ever seen in a position similar to mine has not. And because if I don't call our names, who will? And because I bet you can name 1,000 other people besides me that you can draw inspiration from. My girls don't have that. And so when people ask me about centering Black girls and Me Too, my question is always, what do you call Me Too? The Me Too movement is a global movement of survivors that at its heart centers the people who are pushed to the margins. When I started doing this work, it was because I was in a community, not unlike this one, with Black girls, not unlike these, who had no resources. We were in a deficit. I was in a community looking around for resources for myself, and I knew if I couldn't find them for myself, I certainly couldn't find them for the girls who were coming to me with story after story after story after story.
See him say, hey, he say, bae, I say, bye, he say, wait, I say, what? He say, let me get a hug, ma. Grab me, then pull me in tight. In my mind, I say, damn, I like it rough. As his grip got tighter, he say something. I say, okay, that's enough. He then look at me, eyes more euphemized than usually. He say, shut up. See how men say something when you silent, then silence you when you speak.
I'm going to bring up 3 of our girlfriends to continue the conversation with Tarana. You all are like fierce, like you're younger than we were, and that both gives us so much hope, but also I'm just like amazed, right? So if you could just talk a little bit about how you all came to doing this work.
I think it started when I had a friend who was sexually assaulted, and she told me that she was sexually assaulted, and she told me when I was in 8th grade, and I had no clue how to respond to her. I didn't know what to do or how to feel about it. So freshman year orientation, and I seen Girlfriends, and I signed up for the course. And ever since then, I just wanted to learn more and more and more and more. Like, I loved it the first time that I started learning about like gender-based violence and sexual assault, sexual harassment. I just wanted more education, just more.
If you look in the media, if you on social media, like if you just look around, it's like black girls or black women, we are always portrayed as like doing the wrong thing or being in a place at the wrong time or just doing something we don't have no business in. And I feel like it's because like they don't want us to know about ourselves, but we should know. I joined this program to stand in the gap of the girls who don't have a platform to say that, oh, like I am a black girl and I am beautiful for being a black girl.
Why do you think Me Too, the way that she's described it, is a movement that centers the most vulnerable amongst us? Why is that important in Chicago? Like, what's your experience with Me Too in Chicago, and why should we be having this conversation with black girls in Chicago?
In my community on the South Side, like some of these stories as Tarana was bringing up, they're kind of desensitized. We hear about this all the time from our kin, from the people we know. We just have to work on as a community to listen to each other's stories. And I think on the South Side, we're so against each other sometimes that we just need a space for each other to listen to each other, and we can be stronger as a community.
When we do the train takeover and the takeover at Douglas Park, not only is it empowering, it makes us feel loved. And I don't know about y'all, but I love to feel loved. and it just made me feel like people are actually seeing us, like they're actually seeing what we're doing. And if they're not seeing us, they're choosing to ignore what we're doing. That's all.
Okay, thanks.
My question was more so about like you personally as a survivor. What steps have you taken to do like self-care? What forms of self-care do you focus on when it comes to helping yourself when you're in a dark space, when times are getting too tough and everything is too much? What do you do?
What I realized is that I had an ability to curate joy in my own life. I had all of this joy around me, and I was laser focused at finding it outside of my life. And because this is about being a black woman too, because the things that we find joyful, whether it's getting my hair braided, kikiing with my girlfriends, getting in, whatever the things are, I let other people tell me that that's not right. That's not joyful. Like, there was not enough value placed on it, so I didn't place value on it myself, and I realized I have all of these ways that I have joy in my life. And if I could just figure out how to lean into the joy, because what I would do is default to the trauma all the time, right? Something great would happen, and I'd be happy about it, and then in my quiet time, I'd be like, yeah, but I'm this person. I'm not that person. I don't get to be that person. I have a bank. I have that I can withdraw from at any given point. I don't have to stay here. So I don't take up residence in my trauma because I'm clear, I have evidence that joy is possible in my life.